Yeah, Jonathan, thank you so much for coming in to talk to us.
Pleasure to be here.
The inquest only concluded today. First of all, I'm so sorry for the loss of Caitlyn. From what I've read about her, she sounded like an accomplished and wonderful young woman. The cause of death recorded by the inquest as suicide. But you feel that it didn't tell the full story of Caitlyn's death and the part that autism may have played in that. Can you explain a bit more to us?
Well, even going into the inquest, I myself didn't feel like I was particularly searching for anything. The only thing that mattered to me was Caitlyn, and she was not going to be coming back at the end of this 3-day inquest. But throughout these 3 days, I have wondered, and as the coroner has presided and spoken, I wondered to what extent autism did have a part to play in the decisions that Caitlyn took.
You yourself have been diagnosed with autism. Caitlyn was diagnosed while she was at boarding school, so she was going through that journey while she was at school. And it wasn't until this inquest started that you started learning about the links between autism and suicide. What do the statistics, what does the research tell us at this point?
Yeah. Well, very interestingly, I had already been quite a strong advocate for neurodiversity a good 5 to 10 years before this tragic event happened. Out in Asia, I've been raising awareness of the benefits that neurodiversity can bring. It was only a day after I heard my daughter had died that I had started learning about the risks associated as well. And what I do know now is that 1 in 3 autistic people have suicidal ideation, and 1 in 4 have attempted suicide. That's 25%, that's huge. Ultimately, 1 in 7 autistic people die by suicide. And that's a horrific figure that we should certainly look into and explore and see what can be done.
If an autistic person is feeling suicidal, they may not show signs that non-autistic people typically expect. This is from the organisation Autistica, research they've done, because autistic people have differences in communicating, expressing emotions and interacting with other people. Structure and routine may mean that someone appears fine from the outside when they may be struggling. Some people might not want to talk about it. The inquest had a unique insight into Caitlyn's world because they had access to her diary that she kept for 5 years. And again, that went into some of her thoughts about being diagnosed with autism and the journey she was on. Do you think that was considered enough when the coroner took into account? Do you think there was enough educational awareness about suicide and autism at that inquest to fully understand what happened to Caitlyn?
From what I understand, the coroner himself highlighted how unique, very, very, were the words, very, very unique this particular inquest was, in that Caitlyn had left a very comprehensive 5-year record of her thoughts. And that spanned from pretty much her beginning, Wycombe Abbey School in 2018, and right up until the day before she died. Now, that was read, parts of that were read by interested parties, such as the school, the NHS, myself, Caitlyn's mother. But it was not reviewed by experts. And I do find myself wondering whether more can be done to understand.
A letter signed by medical experts and charities has been sent to the government to ask for more funding and commitment to looking at this problem. Tom Purse, the CEO of the Autism Centre, said Caitlyn's inquest has demonstrated that despite schools and the NHS doing their best, because you don't blame the school, and you know she saw her GP, she was involved with medical professionals. Tom Purse said it's too frequently not enough to prevent the most tragic of outcomes. Do you think more could have been done for Caitlyn if there was better understanding of the links between autism and suicide?
Well, perhaps being autistic myself, I have a quite unique perspective on life, and I think of things in terms of probabilities. So all we are trying to do is, in terms of the Autism Centre of Excellence, or Autistica, or National Autistic Society, or Papyrus, in sending this letter to the government, is that we're simply trying to reduce the probability that future suicides will will occur and impair the ability for individuals who wish to do that so that they fail. And if we can do that and help certain individuals, then perhaps other parents will not be traversing that path of grief that I now traverse. But the very irony is that they will never know. So I hope we do help. And I'm simply a voice. There's nothing remarkable about me. But there are lots of these experts and charities who are good at what they do. We should support them. And I will speak on their behalf should I be of any help.
All in Caitlyn's memory. Jonathan, if I can I just end by asking how you'll remember Caitlyn?
I wonder whether I will remember all the parts. Most notably, the very first day I brought her home, the sun was shining, and I always remember that feeling. But I tried to do my best on the 6,041 days that she lived. I now mourn and grieve the fact that I thought I would have a lot longer, but I didn't. So I'd encourage everybody watching tonight simply just to hug your child or hug your loved one, because that's something that I can no longer do.
Jonathan, that's a wonderful sentiment to end on. You've come out of something so dark, and we really appreciate you speaking so soon after the inquest has concluded and just shining a light on the link between autism and suicide and how much more needs to be explored in that area for others. Caitlyn Scott-Lee, thank you for your time.
Thank you.